morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Health Discourse with Sushant and Sakshi. And today we have a very interesting topic that we will be discussing, and it is going to be about polyphenols. So many people don't know about polyphenols. So I think let us start from the basics, yeah. So Sushant, welcome to this episode. And let us begin with understanding of what exactly is polyphenols. Let's keep it a little short and then we'll move to the further questions.
Okay. So basically, polyphenol is a big family of various, phytochemicals, right? So we have flavonoids, flavonols, elegitannins, a lot of these, resveratrol, quercetin, the number of these, you know, compounds which actually offer a host of health benefit for us humans, right? And again, the molecular weight of every uh, polyphenol, starting from phenolic acid to elagitannins, varies, right? And this has a serious implication on how do we extract the benefits of these polyphenols, right? So in basic, that's about polyphenols. You can have, for instance, I can name certain foods like pomegranate, strawberries, cherries, cranberry, so a lot of these foods, walnuts, all of these foods have pectins, right? Have polyphenols in them, right? Which really offer a host of benefits. Yeah.
So, how does it get absorbed in our body? What is the role of gut microbiome in the absorption of polyphenols?
Okay, so you have to understand, as I mentioned, about different molecular weights. A lot of them are very scarcely absorbed by human body in small intestine, right? Because a lot of them have, for instance, elegitannins, right? Resveratrol, right? Quercetin, flavonoids, right? All these have a huge, high molecular weight, right? So it is the concentration of these compounds are very, very meager, very less in small intestine, right? And a lot of them gets into the large intestine where, trillions of bacteria and microbes actually metabolize them and synthesize into beneficial things, which has an impact on, strengthening our gut barrier, regulating blood sugar response, promoting, anti-inflammatory activities, and one of the important aspect which we have to understand is polyphenols or antioxidants, right? Uh, like we stress, right? Our body also experience stress via oxidative stress, right? And for instance, producing energy is a lot of work, right? Which leads to oxidative stress, and as a result, what we call is ROS of free radicals, reactive oxidative species of free radicals are released, right? And which can harm ourselves, which can harm, even mitochondria, which can have mitochondrial dysfunction, which can trigger a wave of inflammatory activity inside the body, right? But our body has a capability of neutralizing these ROS, obviously with the help of antioxidants, and that's why the role of gut microbiome becomes more and more important, right? So as I mentioned, these are have large molecular weights which cannot be metabolized or hardly 4 to 5% are metabolized in the small intestine by human body, right? And a larger part goes to our gut where these microbiome actually metabolizes these and sends them into beneficial stuff, right? Which helps in multiple issues, specifically when it comes to type 2 diabetes and cancer situations.
So that's pretty interesting. I am very curious to know that are all polyphenols uh, healthy for everyone. See, I'll tell you something. Whenever we hear about a new compound in a food, in the food ontology, right? So what usually on the internet, they say a lot of articles come up. Okay, these are the polyphenol foods, you should have them. So these kind of generic recommendations, are they actually healthy? I mean, say maybe I'm not using the right word, but I think does it work for everyone? Like you said, that pomegranate. Is it okay
Okay,
if all of
okay.
us can consume that?
So let me clear it out. First thing is that uh, there is nothing called a universal healthy food or diet, right? You can't assume what works for you would work for me as well, right? So you have to consider, multiple things at play. So a food has multiple molecules, right? Which depends upon how your microbiome is interacting with each of these molecules, determine whether food is good or bad, right? Coming on to polyphenols, right? Again, polyphenols are beneficial in terms of if you have the right set of microbiome active, expressing right set of genes which can, metabolize this into beneficial stuff, right? So if you don't have that having that microbe or sequencing your microbe telling I have a particular strain of microbe which has a potential to metabolize these polyphenols does not tell anything. Which whether potential is one thing, but is it really working or active or performing that function to actually, synthesize this into beneficial stuff, right? So, so again, pomegranate, if you see the pomegranate is, you know, is an L-glutathione, which is a polyphenol, right? Uh, a lot of it gets converted into ellagic acid in small intestine, but again, this doesn't confer health benefits. This ellagic acid moves to a colon, right? Because it is very less in circulation, right? As I mentioned, this is a high molecular weight, so it is poorly absorbed in large small intestine. It moves to the colon where ellagic acid is converted into a metabolite, what we call is urolithin A, right? Which confer health benefits. If you don't have the right set of microbes active, which could do this conversion, right? Doesn't matter how much pomegranate you eat, it is not going to help, right?
Yeah,
So
I
it
think
is.
you've corrected it. You pointed it, very articulated in a very articulated manner, and I think let us move to our next question. So, is polyphenols anywhere related to the onset of type 2 diabetes or any other disease in our body?
I'll not say onset, but in terms of so regulating the glycemic response of various foods or probably regulating your insulin sensitivity, polyphenols have a role to play, specifically as I mentioned about legitimins, right? Legitimins, urolithin A. So urolithin again, I'll give you brief. There are three different type of urolithin: urolithin A, urolithin B, isourolithin A, right? So they are different, and everyone has a variability response to regulating your blood glucose levels, right? Again, it depends upon how your body is interacting with this energy tannin is converted to ellagic acid, right? Again, ellagic acid, uh, foods such as walnuts, pomegranate, strawberry, cranberry, right? All these have ellagic acids, right? So all these have ellagic tannins, so which converts to ellagic acid, which gets converted to neuroleptin A, B, acetylcholine, right? Again, every form of this would be metabolized differently every individual, so it has to be really personalized to understand whether specifically if you have microbes, uh, uh, able to convert illegitimens into urolithin A or B or isoleucine, or how it is and how it is, which specific form is actually helps in uh, regulating your blood sugar response. So it's not only so let me list down as I shared the benefit of the right absorption of polyphenols by our gut microbiome, right? It reduces the reactive oxygen species, as I mentioned about reducing oxidative stress, which is one of the key parameters. So essentially, if you see, if you have uh, high ROS levels, high level of reactive oxygen species or free radicals, right? It it damages your mitochondria, specifically mitochondria in your beta cells, right? And again, we know beta cells are take the instructions from gut microbiome to produce insulin, right? So, if your mitochondria is dysfunctional inside the beta cell, then we know so just for everyone to know, every cell has a mitochondria, right? And these mitochondria as energy powerhouse, it helps in providing source of energy to various cells and tissues and everything, right? So if your mitochondria is damaged inside the beta cells, you actually it triggers the onset and progression of type 2 diabetes. So polyphenols can neutralize the impact of ROS, right? So it reduces ROS. Second, it also it has an anti-inflammatory effect. It reduces the systemic and low-grade chronic inflammation inside the body, right? Uh, as I mentioned about regulating blood sugar response, it also optimizes your uh, cholesterol levels, right? Uh, again, and also promotes insulin efflux, oh, sorry, cholesterol efflux, right? So these are all, beneficial impacts of polyphenol. Another important impact is, it reduces the production of advanced glycation end products, which is again one of the harmful things which triggers autoimmune disorders, right? So there are multiple benefits when it comes to polyphenols, specifically in terms of when you're asking about type 2 diabetes. So Elagitanin is one of the beneficial polyphenol which helps in regulating your blood sugar response, right? So it should be part of your nutrition choices. But again, whether it is going to confer benefit or not, again depends upon your gut microbiome. So just saying to answer, just saying that take this food, this is going to benefit, reduce your blood sugar response is just a shot in the dark, right? You don't know whether how that food will be metabolized inside the so your body, whether the food has other nutrients also which may uh, trigger inflammation, right? Depending upon various biological functions, various biological processes converted into biological pathways, right? You could understand if a particular food is going to be highly anti-inflammatory or anti-inflammatory or maybe medium anti-inflammatory, but low pro-inflammatory. There are multiple, permutation combinations which can come for it, depending upon different molecules in a particular food and how those whole molecules are being metabolized inside the body, right?
Uh, I think I have another question here. So is it going are the like let's say if we consume polyphenols, so the first point of contact with the microbiome is the oral microbiome, right? Like we all know now that oral microbiome also plays a very essential role in our health. So how does it impact the oral microbiome?
Yes, so we have to understand. So for every listener, it is important to understand first fact is that whatever you eat, when you put a fork inside your mouth, the food is first available to your microbes before it is available to you. So it is first available to your microbes in your mouth, right? And there are 100 billion microbes in your mouth, and these microbes actually pre-digest and pre-process these foods so that it makes available to actually for its absorption. First thing, it also uses that interaction of the food to give signals to various body organs what is coming along, and the signals are they produce various metabolites, right? So which also impacts your oral health, right? For instance, if you are consuming too much of, let's assume, cruciferous vegetables, right? So it if you have certain microbes active expressing certain genes, it can lead to production of hydrogen sulfide, polyamines, right? Which could increase the risk of halitosis, which is again linked to somewhat chronic kidney disease. So just give an idea of oral microbiome, right? So coming on to your polyphenols question, right? So there are certain microbes if they are active and expressing the right set of genes, they could extract benefits of polyphenols. So it is said that if your microbes are active and able to extract those all free digest polyphenols into beneficial stuff, it could help overcome gum disease, periodontal disease, and again, periodontal disease is linked to type 2 diabetes also, right? So it can even help in regulating your blood pressure levels, right? We all know the microbes in the mouth impact your blood pressure levels, right? So essentially, there are certain pathways I'll share probably which can so it can suppress the oral inflammatory pathway. It can suppress the protease activity, right? It can reduce the pathobiont activity and genotoxic activity. All these are linked with various systemic health diseases, not only oral issues, not only gum disease or cavities or inflammatory disease, right? But also a host of systemic issues such as type 2 diabetes. So if you have, so I'll tell you one very interesting fact here, So people in the age of 40 and above, right? 52% of the people have cavities, right? And you know, people would so if you go to a dentist, they would tell you to floss and do brushing regularly. But again, that may not be the only reason for or only factor which can impact your cavities, right? So people who do brushing and flossing regularly do have cavities because the reason is oral microbiome, right? So your
And
oral
let's not
microbiome.
and let's not forget mouthwash.
Yeah, mouth. So that's a different discussion, but just to
Yeah.
let you know, in terms of oral microbiome, is mouthwash actually it's written it kills 99% of the germs, right? So it actually kills a lot of your oral microbiome. It makes your oral microbiome imbalances, reduces your ability to produce nitric oxide. Again, nitric oxide is linked with it has a vasodilation. In fact, it is linked to regulating blood pressure, regulating your insulin levels, insulin signaling, blood flow to various body organs, including brain, including your sexual organs. So nitric oxide production is impacted by a mouthwash, and that's why mouthwash is linked with a list of these systemic health issues such as type 2 diabetes, hypertension, cardiovascular disease, erectile dysfunction, infertility, dementia, right? So there are multiple factors. Again, that's a different discussion we can have in a separate talk on that here.
I think we have covered a lot of facts for the benefit of people here, and I think it is very necessary that these things like mouthwash that are very prominently advertised everywhere, right? So we need to educate people about how these things are actually killing their microbiome, right? And not just that, there are many environmental toxins that we are using in our daily life, room fresheners. And I actually, when we were researching, I came to know that there is these room fresheners. They kill your microbiome, yeah, because they have some compounds like methyl sulfide, which is very lethal for our body. Yeah. So, I mean, there are many interesting facts that we will be sharing in our next
Yeah.
episode.
So
So,
just
yeah.
want to summarize once for everyone. So polyphenols are really essential, but you have to understand how it is being absorbed, not assuming that I'll eat pomegranate, I'll eat strawberry, I'll eat cranberry, I'll eat walnuts, and everything would be fine, right? So it all depends on absorption. First thing, a lot of people have talked about gut microbiome, right? The role of gut microbiome in various health aspects. We know as we shared the interaction between gut microbiome and polyphenols, right? Especially when it comes to type 2 energy tannins, right? How it is converted into urothin A, which gives antioxidant benefits, right? But it is also important to understand that these polyphenols via various foods and herbs can also impact your oral health, can also help you overcome your cavities or periodontal issues, gum disease, right? So this is not spoken by anyone, right? Because a lot of people don't know about the microbiome in the mouth, right? So it has a very vital role to play, right? So either way, either through gut microbiome or oral microbiome, right? Polyphenols do impact your risk of or your movement towards or away of type 2 diabetes, right?
Yes, so I think with this we conclude this talk here, and we will be back again with another episode. And in the next episode, we will be talking about an entirely different topic. And Sushant, I think it's time we should talk about things that are very prominently propagated in the market, low GI foods.
Yeah, so you can talk about we can talk about low GI foods, and another important, maybe a bit controversial topic is fluoride, right?
Fluoride,
And
yeah.
fluoride is I'll just give a sort of trailer of it, right, before we sign off, right? So fluoride is found in all municipal water supplies, right? If you see in states such as Punjab, Haryana, and even Madhya Pradesh, there is a huge content of fluoride in the underground water, right? And and even in toothpaste, right? But fluoride is something. It's not a mineral. It is not a vitamin. It is not found inside our saliva, right? We do not need it, right? So we'll talk more about during our next talk, right?
Next talk, yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to be about fluoride, yes.
Yeah.
So thank you and have a great day.
Thank you. Bye bye.